Good morning, guys. It is Dr. Mo, and I am on YouTube. I am not yet on Facebook or Instagram. I'm still currently waiting for my crew to show up. We will see. These couple of weeks are rough. And we all know they're rough because we're not going to. Hi, Neil.
Hey, morning.
But I have a new speaker and a new microphone, so we're going to see how it goes.
All right, let's see.
So there's no delay. There should be no delay. We are live on YouTube currently. We went live on Instagram. I have not hit live yet on TikTok until I get. I have to figure out what setting I'm missing. Stream setup. Title. Fat loss. Hold on. All right. And that should get us up to go live on Facebook. And we are now going live on the TikTok.
For now.
For today. Hey, you know what? If TikTok goes down, this is the last TikTok live that we will do.
True.
So
I thought it was end of January or mid-January.
Oh yeah, it is. I'm sorry. I'm thinking the compound thing. I got issues. I'm mixing metaphors. We'll see what gets canceled when.
Morning, Bradley. Morning, Beth.
All right. Neil is fired up on the TikTok, looking at the chat.
Today. Got some sleep.
Right? It's good. It's good. I spent the morning on the phone with the tax people.
Fun.
From everywhere, every state we've ever paid taxes in. I'm like, whatever. Good morning, guys. Lots of people, thank you.
She's sorting it to Dr. M.
Yeah, I know.
Maureen was too long. Mo's too much.
Too long. Let's keep going. Yes. Merry Christmas.
Well, so first things first, let's start with the disclaimer. This is not considered medical advice. This is just us trying to answer some basic questions for people. If you have something super important, talk to your doctor in general. Otherwise, we'll try to answer some basic stuff for you. And this is not a HIPAA compliance space. Come on, man, guys. We're on social media. So if you say it here, the world knows it. But otherwise, this is, I wouldn't say these in a safe space, but we can try to answer some basic stuff for you.
Right. This is not the safe space meeting. The safe space meeting is our patient meeting on Wednesdays. Yes, Wednesday happy hour. I'm Sunday.
Ask us questions.
Yes, we don't meet on Sunday. Ask all the questions. How's everybody? We're not going to be on public lives. We might be popping in here and there. I might be popping into TikTok or Instagram here and there over the next 2 weeks, but we will not be here the next couple of weeks. We are actually taking time off. So that's pretty exciting in my opinion. I wonder if I can move the chat.
So I'll start here since there are not questions yet. We're not political, but there was a thing I saw this morning that Trump wants to get rid of PBMs.
No way.
Yeah, he wants them gone.
Huh.
Wow.
That's what I said. I'm like, that's a good start.
We shall see.
I mean, it's still expensive if you cut out the PBM and you buy it directly from like Eli Lilly. It's still expensive, but
right.
It's cheaper.
Yeah.
Someone put forward a law that the proposal that you can be an insurance company or you can be a pharmacy company, but you cannot be both. I think it was like somebody out of Tennessee. You can't be both anymore.
Yeah, but there's ways to get around that.
I'm sure there is. There's some subsidiary, but at
least it's an effort.
Yes, it's going in the right direction.
Yes.
And I don't know if it's just to appease people because people are pretty upset about the United Healthcare thing or what, but
probably.
This has got people talking.
Yeah, they're talking. So that's kind of I know. I actually recorded a podcast that'll be up in probably 2 months or so because I realized I'm doing too many episodes and I only post every other week. So I'm like, oh crap, we're a little backed up. It's like whenever I'm on a podcast and people are like, oh, you're going to be posted in June. And I was like, what? Well, now I know why, because I did the same thing by mistake.
Can we do shout outs? Let's do a shout out to Lee Cameron.
Yes. Hey, Lee. I don't know if Lee's on TikTok, but if Lee's on
if you say it correctly, it's funny as heck. If you say it to yourself slowly.
Oh, I did.
Yeah.
That's what I went with the first name. We're just giving shout outs. Hey, Lee. We're going to go there.
Leaky bum.
Now that would be Olestra or Ally, right? So we've not described those.
Ooh, and I know all these. I love them all. I think they're hilarious.
Yeah, we don't have those problems much with GLP-1s. But,
it's the other problem.
Yeah,
exactly. What are we talking about this morning? I don't know, Kathy. We just got on. We'll see who's got questions. I decided, inspired by the husband who is really dialing in his dose and dialing in when he takes his dose. I went 6 milligrams because I felt like I needed a little bit more, and I didn't feel like I needed to kind of get my life together just a little bit. I need a little help to make better decisions. Like I talk about that Viktor Frankl space where the space between stimulus and response. So I said, you know what, we're going to try this. We're going to go 6 milligrams and really try to dial this in. One thing I do want to talk about that just brought me to this. I had someone ask me on social media, shoot, I got to pull that up. Do we microdose? I know we talked about this last time. I don't know what that term means. It's not a medical term. So I don't know how to answer those questions. Absolutely, we will do like my husband takes 2 milligrams, usually once a month or once every 2 weeks, depending on how the cravings are. Mm-hmm. That's not microdosing. Like, I don't know what that means.
Is this ridiculously low dose? You're taking like 0.1 every day or something like that. I have no problem with taking lower doses.
Yeah. I think the better question is, will we help you customize a dose that fits your needs? And yes, we will absolutely do that.
I think that's the biggest benefit of compounded. Like, if you're like, if 5's not enough and 7.5 is too much, what the heck do you do?
Yeah.
Because you're not supposed to split pens. You're going to lose it on your counter. Just saying, for me, that's what happens. I tried twice. No. But yeah, you can dial it in. But microdosing, actually, the way I actually got kind of mad I should never coach in the DMs, right? So if you guys send me a message on social media and I tell you I don't coach in the DMs, number one, there's a reason, because I offend people. And number two, because I offend people. Because I actually said, I want my patients to be healthy, not broke. I don't need you to take an ineffective dose that doesn't do anything and waste your money. That's dumb. I want you to get the actual benefits from the drug. If you need a drug, some people don't need a drug to achieve fat loss. They just need the rest of the crap we offer, and they want urgent care in their pocket. Fine, go to amstelehealth.com. Come see us. We're nice people. And more than that, we're confident. Okay. See, let me look at the things, social Q&A to tackle. Because I didn't record these in videos. Thoughts on the side effect a statin can increase Alzheimer's, and for someone with the gene for it, do I think GLP-1s could? This is a lot of questions. You ready? We have all the questions. Statins and Alzheimer's. I don't know anything about it.
I don't either.
So we're going to pass on that one.
We're not really a fan of statins anyway, so.
Yeah, we don't really like statins, so it doesn't, that's why I'm on Zetia and not a true statin, because I don't think the research did not pan out the way we'd hoped. Do I think GLP-1 shots could potentially help with lowering LDL? Answer is yes. Not potentially, they do.
They do. The only thing that lowered mine.
Yeah, I have a 30% reduction in mine so far. Going through menopause increases LDL, as does taking progesterone. I did not know that. I don't know what the studies say on that. I don't know if that's a web thing or an actual thing. What are the potential side effects of LDL and cardiovascular period? I don't know what that was, but the side effects of a high LDL are a big ass plaque in your freaking LAD. So welcome to my current cardiovascular status. Because I said for over 10 years, oh, I'll get it under control with diet. I'll keep, I'll try it. I'll get it under control. That was a big little bullshit because my frontal lobe wasn't driving the bus. My brainstem was driving the bus and I was eating myself to death. So I don't do that anymore. So, and that was a very nice post from somebody. She's like, you don't have to answer all these, but there we go. So Tracy, if you end up watching this later, if you're on Facebook right now and you happen to be kicking in on Facebook, hop in. All right, what do we have?
Do stretch marks disappear over on YouTube? They lighten, but they do
lighten.
They do lighten. I still have my college ones. I'd say, do you want to see? But they're on my ass, so the answer is no. No one needs to see that ever. But yeah, no, I mean, I do. They're actually not on my butt. They're actually like on my side here because I gained so much weight so fast in college and when I quit swimming that, yeah, anyway. It wasn't the roids, man. It wasn't the roids. It was beer and food. And it was beer and food and a lot of it. It was a lot of beer and a lot of food. Yeah. My mom, I went to England for 6 weeks and my mom picked me up from the airport and was like, what the hell happened? Like she did not recognize me when I got off the plane. See, exactly. Even the dog's like, what the hell was that? So anyway, all right, what else we got? What do we got? Like and follow Neil and Courtney.
Yeah.
You hear their voice behind the scenes if you're on the TikTok. And I have a new speaker microphone combo to make it good because I didn't feel like going upstairs because the computer upstairs is dying.
Oh.
Yes. I've gotten errors that I've never seen. So I'm down here. Anyway, that's the long and short of it. It was cheaper than buying a new computer for now until I redo my office upstairs. Somebody has something on the TikTok.
Have there been any actual long-term studies on rats with these weight loss dosages? I'm not sure how long the studies are, but typically they give them such a ridiculous dose.
Yeah.
Per,
I just realized the person's name who asked. No regrets. So I pivot. So at the weight loss dosages, I don't know what the dose. See, the problem is you have to look at equivalent dose, right? So if you're looking at like Byetta and Byduron, let me look up Byduron dosing compared to semaglutide. Because, I mean, honestly, that's a whole lot of human, not studies, but I mean, because the studies were done on rats before it gets approved for humans. I don't want ratings. I want dosing. You can't even. Hold on. I'm looking for price. So wrong search. So yeah, I'm not sure on Byduron dosing. 2 milligrams every 7 days. So if you're looking at that, humans have been using GLP-1s since 2005. I think. But I think Byetta is daily and Byduron is weekly. So the first weekly was 2 milligrams weekly. So it's the same. It's the same as the weight loss doses of 1.7 if you look at semaglutide, right? Because you have to compare it to semaglutide, not tirzepatide. No, it's tirzepatide dosing. They're different freaking drugs, but it's the same class. I've been using it for 20 years. All right.
Yeah.
It's a very roundabout way because you can't, that's like saying, it's hard to compare, but we've been using them in humans. I don't know what rat studies they do, but they do those prior to FDA approval for human use. Grace, were you asking how much did I lose? 50 pounds. Roughly.
And then how much did you do? So I'm assuming the highest dose you took.
The highest dose during loss was 5 milligrams of tirzepatide. During maintenance, I took 9.4 one week for Franken dosing because I was off the rails and could not get my shit together. And I didn't throw up or anything. I just didn't feel very good. But normally I will bump up to 7.5 if I really, really need some help, AKA colonoscopy plus Thanksgiving plus family stressors, Thanksgiving, a food holiday plus family stressors, which is stupid because my family is not stressful, but not anymore. But I don't know. It is what it is. I got old triggers.
Queen just joined. What's this about? We're talking about GLP-1s, weight loss, lifestyle management, kind of just about anything in that realm. So if you got a question, go ahead and shoot it to us.
Yep. Ask away. Ask all the things. Thank you, Annette. Yeah, I encourage more viewers to share. So like and share the live. Follow me, Neil, and Courtney. The more people know, the more people we can help, which is key. If you want to be our patient, we're in 14 different states. Go to amstelehealth.com. I need a cute site for that, by the way. Like I need a cute site. Like AMS telehealth is, it's fine, but I need like a cute. I tried to do something like the best telehealth, but that was taken.
Oh.
Queen, GLP-1s are medications used initially for diabetes, but now being used for weight loss. The base of the part you feel is that you have a decreased appetite and you stay fuller longer. It does other stuff. They have them in England. Other stuff going on in the background where it helps you metabolize and how you utilize like sugar in your body better to help you lose weight, or for diabetes to help control that blood sugar way better.
Yes. Metabolic management and repair. And we're finding out so many things about their decreasing inflammation, and it's metabolic repair.
Yeah. Decreases heart attack risk, stroke risk, risk of Alzheimer's, helps control PCOS, a lot of autoimmune disorders. It's kind of getting people off biologics. Lots of stuff, and they're kind of studying them for just about anything now. Kathy, struggling with constipation yet again.
Yeah, well, very common.
Hi, Lena. Kathy. Kathy in the tortuous colon. If it's that bad, just go Miralax for a while. I mean, and that was not medical advice. But if it were me, and it's like one of those times where the fiber hasn't been there, the stress is different, who knows? I mean, hormonal changes, who really knows?
Make sure you're hydrated.
Oh, you can't take Miralax. Kathy, I think Miralax makes Kathy, there we go, makes her swell.
Oh. Ugh.
So with that, I would probably do for myself, I would make sure I was getting plenty of fiber, hydrate, colace, and then, if I needed to, I would, do some magnesium, like Mago 7 or something like that, to kind of help get things going and then stay ahead of it.
And then the daily greens, either the AG1 or the Grunes, something like that tends to help a lot of people.
I did Bloom, and it really helped in a negative way. So if you really need to go fast, Bloom was great for me. I think Linda might take that. But Bloom was, hyperdrive. Put the guts in hyperdrive for sure. All right. Nope, move to greens. Yep, do Mago 7 greens, colace. Yeah, slow transit colon. How's your water? I mean, that's I think the next thing, if you're doing all the things, or it's just. I'm totally buying this, you guys. Yourbesttelehealth.com is for sale.
Hey.
Be easier to say because AMS telehealth is really long, I mean, it's long, but it's like AMS, ANS. Is this bad? Is this like a bad kind of telehealth? You know what I mean. Oh yeah. This is me joking around.
Buckets of water, go and try upping the fiber slowly. For me, I would probably just go right at the fiber, get myself going, and then plan like a weekend, and then back off the fiber to find where I'm at, because I try to get going.
Yeah, Linda. Mago 7 doesn't work for everyone. Some people swear by it. Mag citrate for me is you could always, God forbid, do that. because I can't take, like, my magnesium is glycinate because I can't take any other kind, you know, because we go into hyperdrive, which is like bizarre because I'm the slowest colon on the planet. Maybe not. Maybe Kathy's got me beat there, but pretty close. Tried semaglutide, horrible constant heartburn. Yes, Queen. If your provider does not help you with that, or you don't have a coach behind you that's telling you what to do, and you're eating the same foods, especially the same frequencies and time of day that you ate before, you are going to have terrible heartburn.
Yeah.
Trying to not get kicked off of TikTok today.
Yeah, sometimes it's it's like she's saying, it's related to certain foods that you were eating. We found like broccoli, cauliflower kind of sits in the stomach a long time and causes like some heartburn. Red meat for some people is just a no-no when they first start because it just sits there and causes this like reflux. So a lot of times you have to adjust the quantity of food you're eating in certain foods. Like a food diary a lot of times will help with that to kind of pinpoint the offending food or foods. And then, if it's in the morning or when you had it, it was probably eating too much before bedtime. And I mean, I'm talking sometimes it's like 3-4 hours before bedtime is the last meal. So you're not getting reflux. If not, there's some medications that sometimes can help a little bit with it when you're first starting. And the other thing is to make sure you are getting some food, because some people just eat nothing ever because they have zero appetite, and that makes the heartburn even worse.
I'm trying to look. Yes, Kathy said, if it's a race, my colon wins. Or is that loses? I vote loses. Because I'm there with you. Buckets of water. Yeah, I agree. Just make sure you're not drinking a lot of free water. That's not medical advice, but a crazy public service announcement. Do not drink a ton of plain water, ever. Neil says don't ramp up the fiber because you're going to get crampy for a couple days, but crampy's better than not going at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would, if it was me, I like the clear one, Benefiber, and I would probably take max dose of that one the first day if it was me for a couple days until I got going. If it's a little uncomfortable once or twice, great. It's fine. At least I'm going again.
Agreed. And then you can dial up. So I have these, I think it's La Tortilla Factory tortillas that are like high fiber. They're because you have to look for the keto stuff because that's what you usually grab, the high fiber in there. But these have a bazillion grams. It's not really a bazillion, but it's a lot. And I actually hit 32 grams yesterday because of that. And I didn't eat it. It was a great bang for my buck with protein and fiber yesterday. Sorry, I'm like, what is my dog doing? I'm like, I don't know what my dog's doing. Oh yeah. So yeah. And by the way, Queen, it's semaglutide. See, it's all good. Semaglutide has a lot more side effects in general than tirzepatide. Can they get tirzepatide in England yet?
I think so.
I don't know. I mean, I know Monjuro is over there.
Yeah.
Because their price is way better. But I don't know how readily available it is.
It says spring 2025. It looks like
they don't have it.
For weight control. So I don't know. All right, let's look at some websites.
Yeah, Queen, you have something called Zepbound or Monjuro over there?
Okay, so the medication will usually be offered only to those people with the highest clinical needs, and then they'll step down from there. So,
which, here it's whoever can afford it.
Yeah.
Same there. I was talking to a girl in Canada who is on a wait list for a privately, perfect. NHS, thank you, Nate. NHS will have it in March. So privately you can get it. So if you want to pay for it there, you can get it. If not, same as here, guys. So anyway, I was talking to this girl in Canada. She's on a wait list for a primary care doctor. And I did a podcast with a guy in Canada yesterday who is the same. He's been waiting for one for 5 years in the area he lives. She's on a wait list for 2.5 years for a primary care doctor. So that's what socialized medicine does. Now, if you want to go private and pay for it, that's different.
Right.
So, yeah, rolling it out over 12 years. Yeah, I know. And but think about that. It's the same as here. So the NHS is going to roll it out in stages, highest to lowest. It's the exact same as insurance companies are doing here. is they approve it for BMI 35 and higher now, and some, right? Because again, it's private pay insurance. So we're paying into a system that is going to up the numbers so they can get it to the people with the most clinically significant diagnoses first. Exactly. I feel the same way. I hear your dog. And I don't mind that I hear your dog. I think it's funny because I feel the same way. Granted, it makes sense, right? Well, okay, it doesn't make sense. If you go from a triage standpoint, you're going to pick the people with the greatest benefit for longevity, right? The people who can do the most with it. But that's an ethical decision that, thank God, I don't have. So we can get glow-in-the-dark condoms, though. All right, well, that'll work.
Okay.
YouTube's fun, man.
Yeah.
YouTube's obviously a lot more fun than I am.
Is there any alternative to ADHD medications if you can't get on a prescription? Well, I don't think there's anything like over the counter that works as well, from my knowledge. There's are medications that aren't like the methamphetamine based medications, the ones that people want, like Strattera and some other ones that kind of help you focus, that a lot of docs are more apt to write because they're not habit forming and they're not controlled substances. So that might be a discussion with your doc.
And there are people who have systems built so their ADHD is managed without medication. I don't have anything against medication. Coffee, yeah. I don't have anything against medications at all, as long as the risk benefit is there, in the favor of the benefit, not the risk, which is kind of what we talk about a lot too. And I'm sure that's where the question was based on the rat studies, because the rat studies for Mounjaro and Ozempic said they got cancer. The rats got cancer.
The rats always get
cancer. Right. In a receptor that humans don't have. So
yeah.
It's a risk benefit, we talk about that a lot. So, okay. Questions. Went to a local pharmacy. There you go. Perfect. Went to a local pharmacy online, filled a form, bought it, came in the post. Perfect. So yes, it is available. So the problem is when you do that, Queen, not a problem, puzzle to be solved, as it were, is that you need somebody who can help you through it, who can manage actual appropriate fat loss, mitigating side effects. If it's not medical advice, that's actually part of what I do in my coaching. It's about a third of what I do in my coaching is helping people find the best care they can get. You're not going to get, obviously, you're not going to get, well, I don't know, you never spoke to anyone or had a coach. Exactly. So that's actually why I do what I do in coaching. We only do medical care in 14 states. My coaching is anywhere in the world. Or if we colonize Mars, there too. It'll just take a while to get the response.
Yeah, it's possible that the dose was just a little bit too high. Either it's possible you took the wrong dose, or if you're getting compounded semaglutide, sometimes people will do like half of a normal starter dose. We've had patients that just couldn't handle the initial dose. It was just too much, and we just kind of went up slower.
I'm just looking up to see if they can get compounded in the UK.
And usually most of the side effects do get better with time, but certainly won't get better if you don't learn to make some adjustments.
Yep. And how would you know to learn that unless somebody tells you? If Queen had not stumbled upon you're going to lose a benefit of a drug that could potentially save your life down the road because people didn't manage it correctly. And you don't know it until you know it.
Yeah. And unfortunately, we see those often in our physical job, people that are probably never going to touch the medication again because of horrendous side effects that ended them up in an emergency department, and they're terrified to take the medication again. And I feel so bad for them because for some of them, they really could use the medication and no one coached them. It's sad.
Or even those ones that a lot of people, the opening doses don't work. They're escalation doses. So they tried the first dose and it didn't work and they quit, as opposed to trying to get to going up with once or twice to find a dose that's more appropriate for them. Maybe they'll try again, I hope, at some point.
No. Well, and that's another thing. We do have some people that get upset when they've been off the medication for a month and we ask to start back at the lowest dose. And they say that dose never did anything for me. I understand. And if we're on compound, we can bump up that dose quickly, but I can speak firsthand knowledge. If you bump up too quickly, even if you've never had side effects, you can have side effects, and it's pretty miserable.
And it's miserable for days. It's not like it's a quick, I'm nauseated today. It's like 3-4 days.
It's like a miserable week. I didn't listen to my own advice, and it's a pretty miserable week.
Well, that's exactly why I reached out when I was like, my food noise is terrible after the colonoscopy. And you guys are like, don't take it until your guts move. Here, just deal with it. And I was like, but I have to.
I know. It sucks, but
you know, you gotta listen to the people who know what they're talking about, and don't do your own medical care.
No.
For real. Don't do your own medical care. Ever. Or your kids.
But for Queen, she could probably join the Facebook group, the open one. Get information there.
Absolutely.
If you decide you want to go again.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, and if you go to Dr. Mo Coaching at the top, there's a button that if you want to sign up for the Fat Loss Foundation's community, that is $49 a year for the next couple of weeks. So do it now. After that, it's going to $97. So, and if you are an AMS patient and sign up for so if you're out there and you're listening and you're an AMS patient, please text the team, because we'll get you into coaching it's no charge. It's nothing, and it's no charge like forever as long as you're a patient. So don't miss out on this, please. Because it's done. Yeah, Linda said some people complain it's been a week and they don't feel anything. Absolutely. Yeah, and some people don't. I was lucky enough that within hours I could tell the difference. But people are not that lucky. Most people are not that lucky.
I was shocked how fast semaglutide worked. Like, I'm like, there's no way it's working this fast. Like, it was, an hour or two. It was probably even before that. I'm like, that I had no appetite, didn't want anything. It was pretty crazy. And
that's with semaglutide for you. So, I mean, it's very different. You know, I always say I'm team tirzepatide because it was a lifesaver for me. But people need to know that semaglutide is a very, very good drug. Very good drug. So
I know once I read retatrutide and whatever else comes out, people will be like, what, tirzepatide? That's that trash, you know?
I know, right?
Only 23%.
Tirzepatide, whatever. But it's so funny because you got two camps, right? You've got one camp that's like, it's blocking your comments, Nate. Why? What are you trying to say? What are you trying to say, Nate? Just kidding. Literally, what are you trying to say? Break it up, put some periods in there, space it out. But there's two camps, right? The camp that says you don't want Ozempic face and Ozempic ass, so lose it slowly. And then the other camp's like, I'm so sick of the burden, emotional, mental, physical burden of this fat. Get it off. I don't give a shit about what my ass looks like. Like, let's go. I don't care about my Ozempic face. Don't care. Get it off. So anyway, yes, compound is not Gucci in the UK. I did see that. I did look it up. Having horrible heartburn, just started omeprazole today. I've been on fluoxetine. So yeah, like Neil said a little bit ago, heartburn on a GLP-1 is most often related to what you're eating, when you're eating, and how much you're eating.
But yeah, if it's uncomfortable, yeah, I would take something to kind of get it under control and then kind of start zeroing in what I'm eating to cut it out. But there's no sense in being miserable for a couple of days. So like some Pepcid or like a PPI is fine.
Tums.
Yeah. Tums,
absolutely.
Which I switched to tonics hoping it would be better. It's not.
No,
I'm just going to switch back to the old, same old, and work on my timing. Oh yeah, this week. So in my mindset, so there's a Monday mindset video in my coaching program, and this one was all about kind of making a change. And so this week I'm setting a goal, and it's like this week. I'm not doing it this week. This week is the start of the goal. That I have a cutoff in the evening for food. So I've started hitting the fasting button again. So, and not because I do intermittent fasting per se, but I need to know. Oh yes, Denise. No, I know you missed it. Sorry, that's why we went over it again. my whole point in that was it's a very common concern that lots of people ask about. Because heartburn on a GLP-1 is real. And if you have heartburn beforehand, you are going to have it after.
Mm-hmm.
But like Neil said earlier, I have to stop eating. I'm best if I stop eating at like 5 o'clock at night. Like, I'm not going to kid. And last night I stopped at 6:30, but I ate a larger meal for dinner because I because I can plan fantastically. I do not execute said plan fantastically. I didn't eat at the times that I had planned. So I was backed up and I needed to get my protein in. So I had a protein shake with dinner, which meant the volume was way too high and I had heartburn all night long. Now I will feel better tonight if I do it because it's still backed up from the 2 days before where we made a gingerbread house and cookies.
Yeah, Nate's reflux when he started meds. So.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Like PPI meds or like GLP-1 meds? I'm inquiring minds want to know.
Yeah.
What the hell is that for?
Well, I guess if a GLP-1 got your diet and food under control, then perhaps the other things.
GLP-1. Yeah, small portions at night. What you're thinking, here's Courtney, ready? This one's all Courtney. She thought she was eating small portions at night too.
Yes. And so I thought, and they were smaller portions than what I had been eating. My food was definitely less than what I had been eating, but it wasn't decreased enough to actually move the needle. And it was a sad mathematical truth. But if you're not losing and you think you're eating small portions, something's got to give. Some portion somewhere has got to be even smaller than what you think. So simple, tracking can be difficult for people, although it does give us good data. Dr. Mo knew that I have opposition to tracking at times and just basically said, then cut your dinner in half. So that's what I did. And I started losing.
Yeah, because Courtney doesn't want to track. Nate said he was coughing up acid at night. Last night I had food. The past 2 nights I've actually had food. I had right-sided back pain.
Oh.
I had so much food in my esophagus 2 nights ago.
Oh gosh.
Mm-hmm. Yup. Yay! Welcome to. You know what? I was an early responder, but I'm like this long game fighter. Like it's like my brain is a recalcitrant toddler. That I knew I was eating too much a couple days before, but I'm like, it's a couple pounds. Who cares? You know what? Your sleep cares, and you're exhausted. Or like my husband said, they apparently I don't know about the doctor's lounge. The doctor's lounge is being remodeled or something at the hospital. So, and they have really good food options in their doctor's lounge, like good for you options. And he said, so I pretty much lived 3 days from the EMS lounge.
Oof.
Exactly.
Cookies, chips, and shitty sandwiches.
That's what he said. It was Lay's potato chips and Doritos for 3 days.
Wow.
Yeah, Denise said that's why I went on omeprazole. I was gagging on the acid. And so that it also can go into your lungs and cause pneumonia. So it's a real concern. Acid that keeps bubbling up over time can cause Barrett's esophagus and cancer, by the way. So we should all be Nate and allow the GLP-1 to get our diets under control so we don't do stupid things.
Hi, Carter.
Is Carter on?
Yeah, he just got on.
That's so funny.
He's done with his work.
I miss my kid. Best way to wean down for maintenance. I don't wean down at all, man. I go up.
I think the best, is to like either get your goal weight and then start weaning down so you can go a little bit past it. Because, when you start eating a little bit more, you will put on a few pounds, and that's just your muscles filling back up with glycogen. It's not fat. But people freak out about that. So I'd go a little bit past there if that's what you want, and then start tapering the dose down. Ideally, if it was me, if I was on like max dose of let's say tirzepatide, I would go like a month, I would do a couple weeks at 12.5, then 10, then 7.5. I would go as slow as possible to kind of find my dose. It may be all the way back down at 2.5. I may get stuck at 10 where, I feel like I have too much appetite, and I might stay there for a little bit of time, where I'm not really losing weight, but I'm not gaining weight. And I'm kind of learning how I'm going to come off the medicine. Some people get to go all the way back down to 2.5. Then they start to space it out to 10 days and they just come off and do fine. It's very different for everybody. Even some people will come down and they'll be at like, let's say 5 for like a month, 5 weeks. And then all of a sudden they have a tough week, stress, hormones, whatever. And then they'll go up for a week just to kind of get it under control again. And then start going back down.
Yeah. One of Dr. Mo's, I'll call it famous phrases, is maintenance is messy. And I have found that to be very, very true for myself. I have not been able to find a steady dose of semaglutide that is just like perfect. It kind of, one week it's like, ooh, I had some side effects this week. I don't want to feel like that. I didn't quite get in the nourishment I wanted to. I'll go down. Then I'm like, oh, that was too low. I need to go back up. And then if it's too high, there's side effects. So I have not found, it'll be great one week. And then the next week, that same dose is not quite. So it has not been like a smooth, easy road for me at all.
I wonder for you if like splitting your dose into 2 doses a week may help that a little bit. Let's say you get one, take half twice a week, because then same thing, like, oh, I'm really dying at the end of this week. You take a little bit more, like, you take like 0.6, 0.75. So you get like a 1.25 for the total week. And then it's still kicking really strong the next week. It's a lot of playing,
Yeah, it is. It's a lot of playing. And there's a lot of fear in there too, right? Like Dr. Mo knows the fear that like, if my dose isn't strong enough, the food noise and the inability to stop, but could always add in a little bit more on day 2 or 3 if I needed it. So.
Yep. So Nate's still having inflammation at 12.5. And you got one more dose to go to get under control. The studies show that the higher the dose, the bigger decrease in like inflammatory markers. So at least it should be down somewhat. It should be way better than it was prior to starting med. Kathy, my doctor asked my goal. I said 135 to 145. He said at my age, he prefers 145 as a buffer. I have seen this in, a lot of patients talk about it, like on some of the subreddits, that their doctor wants them a little heavier just in case they get sick or something happens. They have like a buffer of extra calories to, if for whatever reason they're sick and aren't eating and they're losing weight that way. So I understand that too.
I do get it. I mean, if you look at, and I know people will poo-poo the BMI charts, but the BMI charts, if your BMI is too low, you are at risk for health concerns. So it is as a population. That's not an individual. That's as a population. And I thought about that. I thought about that for the 2 weeks that I thought I had cancer, because I thought, oh shit, if this is cancer and I have no reserve, like at all, like this is going to get ugly, right? Because so, okay, here's a funny thing. We have a hobbit door upstairs. It's not really a hobbit door, but we have a very short half door to one of our attics. And I was coming out of it and I hit my back on the top of the door. I have no padding back there anymore. I actually have a big abrasion now on the back of my back. It hurts so bad. But yes, my husband called me a dinosaur because I don't have any. I have like spikes back there and I don't have any padding. So
little stegosaurus.
Yep.
Blood cell maintenance, 5 milligrams every 10 days, but I think I can go every 12 days. Never went over 5. If you're on compounded, and if, for me, I would rather choose 2.5 milligrams more frequently to keep your blood levels more stable, and then start spacing that out as opposed to the 5 every like 10 days, 2 weeks kind of thing. If you're on the pens, you don't really have a choice. And you can always stretch out and you try 11. We have 5 milligrams usually okay, but with like little higher doses, when people start stretching them out over 10 days, and let's say they're on like 7.5 or 10, they start to have side effects eventually. The blood levels get down low enough and they take their shot and they're sick for a couple of days. So
I have a friend who was one of our patients, and she has the same thing. She was at 15, but she wasn't losing. She kind of forgets when to take her shot. It's like 8 or 9 days, sometimes 10, 11. And all of a sudden and she's never had side effects before, which is a perfect testament to what you just said, Neil. Never had side effects before. And then all of a sudden, the last couple of months, she gets diarrhea, she gets terrible heartburn, threw up once. And I said, we can't, if you're going to not take it every 7 days, we got to back down your dose. Because she didn't have she had a little bit of heartburn, but she could just change her diet and was it. But now she's got all kinds of side effects. And this is 2 years in.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. And I was the same way. I had been on it for, gosh, well over a year, approaching 2 years, and didn't listen to my own advice and went up too quickly, and horrible week.
People forget it's a week, it's days if you overdose or take too much. You're looking at 3-4 days easy. Please
3 or 4 days garbage.
I mean, I think I looked green. I felt so bad. I mean, I really think I looked green. Just, it was awful.
Mm-hmm. So RN 2021, 24 pounds in 7 months and 10 pounds were muscle. So a couple things, 25% of that, it is a high ratio, but I did the same. Mine was 28% that I lost of muscle, but it's also lean tissue. Don't forget that. So it's not all muscle. Don't beat yourself up. It is what it is. The connective tissue that holds your fat together is also lean tissue. So when you lose that, that's why 25% of your fat loss is acceptable. I don't know, what's 10 out of 24? It's a third, roughly 30%. So it's only 5% higher than you would have been otherwise had you done the perfect thing, right? Ideally, yes, we want the Rumpelstiltskin where, oh, I lost 10 pounds and every bit of it was fat. I get it. But even when you lose the fat, the connective tissue that holds your fat together, the blood vessels that supply that fat, that's all lean body mass. You lose those, and that's a plus because you don't need to supply that dead ass weight with blood supply to keep it alive. You don't have to support it. That's part of the issue. So it's okay. You did good.
Yeah, above, she was doing 80 grams of protein a day, but no strength training. So 80 grams of protein, it's great. I'm happy there. I mean, yeah, we like a little bit higher, like 100, but 80 is far above what most Americans eat in their diet. And I'd be happy with that if you were my patient. The strength training, yes. The only things you're going to do to keep muscle on these things is making sure you get your protein and strength training. I mean, would you have kept a little bit more muscle? You strength train? Maybe, but start today and start building that muscle again.
Yeah, best time to plant a tree 20 years ago.
You're welcome, Maureen.
Yeah. Come see us. AMS Public Group is the free Facebook group. So AMS Public Group is the free Facebook group. AMS Telehealth is our practice. Dr. Mo Coaching is the coaching. Links right at the top if you want to get in. It's easy peasy. Just go and click. You guys are gonna laugh. This is what happens. I'm on Squarespace and I'm hanging out. I'm hanging out looking at websites. So I might actually do awesometelehealth.com because it's fun. Because that way, you know what? It's not AMS telehealth. We're gonna say it's awesome telehealth. There it is. Right? I learned if there are too many side effects, if the dosage is too high, one should feel normal. Well, it depends what you consider normal, right? I mean, I have heartburn normally. Yeah. So normal, like, number one, I don't want to be normal like other people because 70% of people are obese in this country right now. So give or take, I'm rounding. And tired and achy and have joint pain. So, but life is, for me, and again, this is not medical advice. This is one person's opinion. You know what I think about opinions. Everyone's got one. But for me, I'm going to have pain if I don't work out. I'm going to have pain if I do work out. It's a different kind of pain. Mm-hmm. So again, like I say, everything we do is a risk-benefit ratio. Now, vomiting is never an acceptable side effect in our practice. End of story. Sleeping with food in my esophagus up to here, not really beneficial to my well-being, right? No matter how you slice it. But that's not the GLP-1 for me. That's behaviors. So it's really a rough, and Nate, shoot, his heartburn went away on a GLP-1.
Yeah. Some people do feel normal, like your dad. He doesn't feel anything. He's like, I'm taking something, but he's losing weight. Like some people feel nothing, just eat less. Other people, I wouldn't say I had side effects. I was just mildly nauseated, like nothing I needed medicine for. I was just like, I don't really want to eat all the time. It wasn't bothersome. If I ate too much, it was bothersome. But that's about it.
Yeah. I mean, so, hair loss, guys, grab this one. We're saying that because this little pineapple was really teeny tiny for a while.
Hair loss is going to happen with any weight loss. It's due to the caloric deficit. It's going to happen. The biggest takeaway is time. It's going to slow down with time. We do encourage high protein will help, biotin supplements, collagen supplements. But ultimately with any weight loss, I mean, look at Neil, lost all his fat and hair's gone. No, but
I grew beard.
Yes, there you go. It just relocated. But hair loss is going to happen with any weight loss. It will slow down and that hair will come back with time.
Yep. When you start eating a little bit more normal, it will come back.
Yeah, it will. It just takes a long time. Only thing I've noticed over the last year that everything moves slower, like gut-wise, because that's a yes.
It's true.
Normal can mean able to eat. True that, Kathy. Yeah, absolutely. Like if you can't eat on a medication, that's not appropriate. Like, and your provider should tell you that. Like, yeah. Like if you're like, again, like vomiting, if you're like, listen, I can only get in 4 ounces of fluid a day and that's it. Your dose is way too high. Like what, or there's something else going on. It's not always the drug, right? You can actually have other issues that are not related to the drug. And that does happen.
Rochelle, is a half pound a week normal? Yes. Yeah. So is a pound. So is 2 pounds. I love a half pound a week. I mean, that's 2 pounds a month. That's 24 pounds in the year. Some weeks you'll have a little bit better. Some weeks will be a little bit slower. Not everybody's like, when you search on TikTok, like weight loss and these things, not everyone is losing 28 pounds their first month, 17 their second month. Some people, it just works incredibly well on them. And it could be because their diet was absolute dog crap before. Their metabolic, the repair was either quicker or they were really in bad shape before. So everybody's different, but half pound is fantastic.
Anything on
Kathy? 6 months to lose 35. That is fantastic. Was that almost 6 pounds a month? I love it.
That's like perfect.
That is. Half pound a week would be perfect. A pound a week is perfect.
Quarter pound a week.
At the end of the day, it's all going in the right direction. And unlike a lot of other like fad diets, like that you kind of on and off, like you're not putting it back on and then some. Like you're perpetually going downhill. You might have a little period where you don't lose, or over the holidays you put on a pound or two, and that's okay. Most patients that they even over like the Thanksgiving, some patients like, I had a rough month, I gained 2 pounds. Yeah, but how much would you have gained last year at Thanksgiving and Christmas with overeating? Way more than 2 pounds. And you're already back, like literally the day after Thanksgiving, you're back on track with your weight loss.
Mm-hmm. So Care Bear said, LOL, is this thing on? Is it blocking your comments?
It might be.
Could be. We don't control that.
Yeah. So Kathy's A1C went from 6.7 to 6. Everything is trending the right way.
Yeah.
And it's not going to happen overnight. It is just not. It will not happen overnight, no matter what we do. Well, you can have weight loss overnight. It's not a good proposition because you're losing body parts. Okay, because you want to lose the right kind of weight. You don't want traumatic weight loss.
Or it's water. Like you eat a bunch, you're like a diuretic, you sweat it out, you just didn't hydrate. Like if you lose weight like 5 pounds overnight, it's water.
Yeah.
Or gut contents, but it ain't fat.
Bethany's A1C went from 12.1 to 6.2 in 3 months.
Wow.
You just added years to your life.
That's
years.
That's
phenomenal.
insane.
I know, right? Rochelle said, I increased my dose to 1.5 after 4 months. Is that too soon? So if you're on Wegovy, for example, 0.25 would be your first month. 0.5 is your second month. There's not a 0.75, right? There's just a 1.
A 1 and then 1.7.
4. So that's the same as what they did in the studies for Wegovy.
Yeah.
If you don't, but it depends on your side effects, right? Depends on your side effects. If you need to go up, depends on, did you talk to your provider and say like, hey, this is what's going on. This is what I need to do. Or, hey, I've got killer heartburn. My appetite suppression's fine. Don't go up.
Yeah, some people really don't feel much until they get to 1.7, and 1.7 is the real weight loss dose. So the first one anyway. So no, that's perfect.
Oh yeah, Rochelle said no side effects. Yeah. Oh. I mean, do what your provider says, of course. Sorry, I slept very poorly last night.
Well, not always. Yes and no, because we've had, we had someone like last week who they were switching from Wegovy or something to tirzepatide, and their doctor wanted to start them at 10. If you're here today, please tell me you didn't do that, because I thought about that one. I'm like, please don't do that.
I know, and we don't want to do medical advice, but if you're going like from semaglutide to tirzepatide and they say start at 10, I would encourage you as a coach, not a doctor, to ask your provider, do you think I could start lower?
I would absolutely never do that for myself or one of my patients.
No.
Or family members. It's absolutely the risk of that. It is possible it is 100% okay and they do fine, but I would never risk it. It's not worth it.
I think in the early days, we were looking at what would be comparable doses, and we were trying and, learn things by default. And we had people that had really bad side effects and decided it's just not worth the risk for those people that won't have side effects. It's not worth the risk of those that will have very bad side effects.
The equivalent dose, the chart that's floating around for tirzepatide, 5 milligrams. What do you think the dose they recommended is, Courtney?
Of semaglutide?
Yeah, semaglutide, if you switch.
Oh, probably like 2.4.
2. Yeah, they want you to start at 2 if you're at 5. But that is for the equivalent for glycemic control. They always forget that part, and they're like, no, this is what you switch to. No, that's not how that chart works. Going from 5 to 2 would be insane. I mean, because you were at much higher doses, 7.5 or 10, and one was a lot for you.
Yeah. I tried like 0.75, I think. Well, I think I tried 0.5 and I was like, meh, it's nothing. I went up too quick. I think I either did 0.75 or 1 on week 2, and it was bad.
Imagine if you jumped to 2.
Oh, there's no way.
Because your doctor told you, because he looked at that stupid chart.
It was bad.
Can you imagine?
And I never had side effects on tirzepatide unless I like overate, but just on a regular basis. I mean, tirzepatide to me was like that whole feel normal thing. I've shared a lot of times. There wasn't even like this huge magical like suppression or food noise quiet. It just like was a subtle, oh, I'm not eating that cookie when I walk by, or oh, I don't need quite as much food. I can cut my dinner in half and still be satiated, and I didn't know it.
So, question on TikTok. What do you suggest as an alternative can no longer tolerate Mounjaro? So my first question is, what does you can't tolerate it mean? Mm-hmm. Because if it's a true tolerance issue, you can usually talk to your provider and learn what to do so it'll change. Because there is no better drug out there for diabetes. No. Type 2 diabetes, not 1, type 2.
Yeah, I mean, depending on the side effect, what the problem is, you might be able to just go down in dose. Like, yeah, it may not be as effective for your A1C and your blood sugar, but you're tolerating it, and it's still way better than anything out there. And then maybe add something in along with it. You know what I mean? Like, if it was me, I had diabetes, I'd be like, okay, 7.5 is too much. I'll drop the 5. I'd add myself in some metformin and see how that goes, because it may mean like, you're on 5 for 3-4 months, and then you're able to go back up. Like some people it takes them a really long time to make that jump. Where like compounded, you'd be like, oh, well, let's go to 6 for a while, then we'll go to 7, and we'll slowly titrate you up, as opposed to making that big jump, because it's just too much for some people. Or the other option is moving on to a semaglutide type product, Ozempic, which usually has more side effects for some people, but everybody's different.
Melissa said down 51 pounds in 25 weeks. Long way to go, but nope. You are gonna celebrate that victory, because that's amazing.
That's
awesome.
Absolutely incredible.
All right, Snarky Malarkey. I love that name, by the way.
I do too.
Narky Malarkey's got a question. What is the mechanism of action besides just eating much less? I don't have the capability of sharing what I'd like to share because I don't know how to share my screen, but it works on what, 9 different body systems in different ways, because you have GLP and, well, if you talk about Manjaro, it's got GIP and GLP receptors all over your body. So it does things everywhere, and it does so many things on the back end. Yes, it does decrease some people's appetite, not everybody's, but it changes the way your body uses food. I think that's the best way to put it.
Yeah. And how you basically, you're using sugar in your body, releasing sugar, releasing insulin. Stephanie, doctor said skip a week, and so 2.5, but now scared to take again.
Like, are you throwing up, or like what?
So I'm assuming you're at the very lowest dose of Mounjaro.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree with your doctor on the starting low, number one. If you're uncompounded, we've had people that have had to start at 1.25, no 0.1 bullshit, like 1.25, or even 1.
Yeah, what side effect do you have in that he wants you to go lower? Because it might just, maybe it's a food issue. Like you're eating too much around the shot and you're getting nauseated. It's possible it's the wrong stuff. You're like, some people like, I'm on a diet now, so I'm gonna eat broccoli and cauliflower and all this other stuff. And a lot of times that's really brutal on the gut because it slows down your gut and it just sits there.
So you're throwing up food from the day before. So Stephanie, you're eating too much wrong things, wrong timing probably. Or your dose is too high, or a combination of all 4. So if you're working with a dietitian, they're going to tell you that eating 1,200 calories is too low. That's what a toddler eats. Well, that's not a toddler with 300 pounds of extra fat. So, sorry, that was like...
You're not eating like that forever. This is in the beginning while you're adjusting to the medication. So if you're eating 500 calories the first couple of days, it's okay. You have body fat to use as energy as well. You need to just make sure you're getting your protein in. And if that's drinking it, that's okay. I think I was eating like 400 or 500 calories, like my first probably week on the medication. I just focused on protein shakes. I just couldn't eat anything. And hydrating. So hydrate with electrolyte drink, get your protein in, even if it's liquid, small amounts, and it's okay the first couple of days. Yeah, and just don't, and like what Courtney said earlier, what she thought, what was smaller was not small enough. The way Mounjaro made me feel was like I had what I would imagine, because I've never had one, a gastric sleeve. It felt like a chemical gastric sleeve. I could eat literally 2 bites of food and just sip my hydration and my protein all day. Like there was no eating, really. Like there were no meals. There were like teeny bits, a couple bites, and that was it to start. Not anymore. There's eating involved now. But that's, again, I also don't have the extra 50 pounds. It wasn't 50, right? It was 30 some pounds of fat that my body can draw from. Yeah. So that's a big.
Yeah, your body now knows how to give you actual real cues that you need to eat.
All right, what do we got?
Oh, the other thing, Stephanie said, worried about gastroparesis. So I've seen, heard about that too. We all work in the ER. I have some surgeons that talk about it. None of them have seen it on these medications. I have not seen it on these medications from like random people coming in the ER or the 4,800 plus patients that we've seen. Does your gut slow down? Yes. Is it gastroparesis? The same thing? No. But you actually have an increased risk. If you're type 2 diabetic, you have this huge increased risk of getting gastroparesis just from being a type 2 diabetic. I can't remember the percentage, but it was pretty freaking high.
It's like over 10% or something. It was
I think it was like 17 or 18 is what I want to say. It was very high of getting gastroparesis. So the best thing to do would be to get the blood sugar under control and hopefully prevent that. And
it's that high with diabetes?
It was really high. I was shocked at how high it was.
Wow. That's crazy high.
Yeah.
I wonder what the percentage is of even diagnosis of gastroparesis on GLP-1.
We looked at that once, and it was Like it wasn't a lot higher than the typical diabetic population.
Oh, here we go. No, it's even higher than I thought. So it's 10 to 30% with people with type 2 diabetes of developing gastroparesis.
Wow.
Yeah. 5% on type 1 diabetes.
Quickie search that said one case of gastroparesis for every 200 people taking the drug on GLP-1s.
And we've never seen it with 4,800 people.
Mm-hmm.
Or every, all the patients that I've seen that are on these medications.
Yeah, I mean, it delays transit time, which is half of the component of gastroparesis. The other part is pain.
But then also probably a lot of that data is collected from people that are doing a standard titration that is, per the package insert, and here's the standard titration without listening to, hey, this dose caused me nausea. Well, it's month 3, you go up to this next dose.
Right. Yeah, we don't do that. So throwing up worried me because I hadn't thrown up in like 10 years. Yeah. If you're eating too much, you're going to throw up. Yeah. Like if your dose is too high, we have patients. I have a patient who ended up in the ER 3 times because we started at 2.5, but she really needed it for food noise. So we started her at 1.25 and now she's doing fine. And she can go up past 2.5. Gastroparesis, pain, and like ridiculous vomiting.
Yeah. And a lot of pain.
Yeah. And your magnesium might have already been kind of low if you were vomiting, and it just kind of dropped even lower. A lot of people's is just routinely low.
Let's grab Kathy's question on non-sodium based electrolyte drinks. That's a tough call because if you're sodium restricted from like congestive heart failure, that's a different animal. But any electrolyte drink is going to have some sodium in it. Body Armor Light Body Armor Light's very low on sodium.
It's like 30 or 40 or less. Ghost is 40. I would stay away from Liquid IV. It's high in sodium. Gatorade's higher in sodium. There is some, I have one that I think I got off Amazon. It's just a powder and it's mostly potassium. I don't think it has any sodium in it. I just added it. So it has an absurd amount of potassium. So you can add sodium or not to it. And it actually tastes pretty good. Stephanie, yeah. So the 1.25 that we do for some of our patients is based on the compounded version. So they just get a vial and they dry up what they want. It sounds like you're on the pens. So yes, the 2.5 is the lowest on the pens. You may be able to talk to your doctor about doing a month or 2 of compounded if it's available and he's willing to, and you start at 1.25. And then when you're ready, you go up. Usually it's cash pay then, they don't typically take insurance for compounding pharmacies, but it might be worth it to get you onto a proper dose.
Yep. Agreed. Yep. And then Kathy with the sodium sensitivity and the potassium's always low. So yeah, like Body Armor Light or Ghost or something would be a brand you would choose. Ghost.
It's a little expensive. I think the Body Armor Light's cheaper, especially the HEB when it's $1.
Yeah, Melissa said Ultima has no sodium, she believes. So that might be another option. Because if you're getting enough sodium from your food, and then you just need to supplement with electrolytes with like magnesium and potassium, or you can make your own, which coconut water doesn't, just coconut, berberine, it's fine as a supplement. It doesn't do what a GLP-1 does. So
no, it's like basically metformin. Herbal form of that is the best way I can describe it. Ultima, is that good? I've never used Ultima.
I haven't. Okay. Oh, yeah, I haven't either. I think they have samples at Whole Foods. So I could go. I like to try different electrolyte stuff. I did buy Liquid IV Immunity for travel and try to do it at home. I literally used one of them.
LMNT was disgusting.
So gross.
The flavor was terrible. At least Liquid IV, the flavor is okay. It's just a little too salty. LMNT was disgusting.
Yeah, agreed. It's not my fave. Metformin is a drug that's used it's FDA approved for diabetes, used for a shit ton of off-label stuff. Homemade pinch of salt and lemon juice. If you can't tolerate sodium though, or if you need more potassium, I would do pinch of light salt because that has half sodium, half potassium.
Or Mrs. Dash, I think, or like a salt alternative. They're potassium based.
Yeah. Options. Yeah.
LMT is all salt. Yeah, just disgusting.
I don't know what it was. Something about the flavor. I tried it. I was like, wow, this is really. And I tried.
Up and tried them all. They had a sample at the vitamin shop, and I'm like, I'll just try them. And I'm like, nope, I'll do it. I'll try them all.
I got a package of samples at a conference I went to, and I was like, I don't know why. Don't. I'm more likely to buy it if I haven't tried the sample. Right. So don't do this. Yeah, absolutely.
If your product is gross, don't give samples.
Cream of tartar is potassium. I did not know that.
Didn't either. Huh.
I love learning new things, and that's amazing. I only need to know how much.
And Kathy, your potassium's too low at 2.8.
Yeah.
Low.
Yeah.
I know. Let's see. Cream of tartar. Magnesium, phosphorus, potassium, a little bit of teeny bit of sodium. Huh. Why don't we use that?
What's your dose though compared to?
It's 2 grams of carbs. I'm looking at the milligrams. So potassium is 495 milligrams of potassium per 2 grams of cream of tartar. Huh. What would we do with it? Put it in Crystal Light.
What's it saying? Like a pinch of cream of tartar, boiling vegetables help them retain their bright and fresh color. So it looks like you can use it like in all kinds of cooking methods.
Huh.
All right. That right there is worth doing this live today because
that's very helpful.
Because you could literally, I mean, it's 2 grams. You could add it into a water bottle.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's amazing. Oh, that's incorrect nutrition profile. I was looking on a nutrition website, on a university nutrition website. Hold on. Let's go away from the medical school. Hold on. I don't want calories. I don't care about that. I also don't want to use 1.5 ounces of it.
No.
0.8 grams. It has. So, 0.8 grams. It has 130. Let me get on the. Well, anyway, whatever. There's an actual government nutrition website. I just went to a medical school instead. 130 milligrams of potassium in 0.8 grams. The rest are just too low to measure at 0.8. So, I mean, like no one's gonna get 1 milligram of sodium. Isn't gonna register. So, daily consumption that can be taken every day. Like for electrolytes or Gatorade. I mean, Gatorade's a little more salty than some.
Honestly, it's whatever one you'll drink, unless there's a contraindication like too much sodium. It's whichever one for constipation. I'm gonna say hydration drink, whichever one you'll drink.
Which is the same for constipation. No, you can anything that's not what's the word? I can't think of the word.
Stimulant?
Thank you. Anything that's not a stimulant laxative. I'm like, I got nothing. Oh my gosh, I need to sleep better. To say the least. So Kathy, if you already take 10 milligrams of potassium a day, you've got to be careful with the amount of free water. You're diluting the potassium you're taking, like with free water. So it's going to be a hell of a balance. Do you have a kidney doctor? You know this. You don't know this. Meg citrate capsules at night saved me. Yeah.
Yeah, because she's drinking a buttload of water, which I think is what her term up above was for hydration and constipation.
I know, right? So how do we get rid of the constipation without overdosing on water? Like literally.
Increasing the fiber to get yourself going and then staying ahead of it. Like I would go past the amount I needed and then back it off. Like, I'm kind of having a little diarrhea. Okay, well, I'll have diarrhea for a day or two instead of 5
Yep.
doses of fiber a day. I'm taking 4 for the next couple of days to see if it slows down. Okay, now I'm back to 3. Okay, that's not enough. So I'll do 3 today, 4 tomorrow, 3 to the next day, and kind of alternate and try to find a dose that keeps me going.
So Anne Marie said too much potassium can create heart problems. Yes, like you don't muck with your electrolytes. That's why we don't normally tell our patients to mix their own unless you're using a micro scale. Like it's a big deal. Like you can't just do it yourself because potassium will kill you. So will sodium, but it's low end. Sodium will kill you faster. Yeah. So, all right.
Yeah, too low potassium can cause problems too.
I know, right? Potassium's a tough one. That's why potassium prescription is a very difficult thing to manage, and that's really a nephrologist or an endocrinologist that has to manage that, the medical part of that, because. But again, don't over dilute the medications you're taking. So,
can combo of metformin, extended release, and Mounjaro cause stomach issues? It can. Just in general, metformin can cause some pretty bad stomach upset in some people. We do add it on to some of our patients that can't afford to go up if they're uncompounded or they're already at max dose, and we have nowhere to go. It kind of gets them losing again. Kind of helps with appetite control. I usually start mine at 1 tablet a day. Some move up to 2 to kind of have a little bit extra support. Some just stay at 1 because it works really well. If depending on how much you're taking, if 2's too much, I would back it off myself. It took me a very long time to get up to 2 tablets of metformin because I'd feel like my lunch from 2 weeks ago was still sitting there in my stomach. So for me, 2 was way too many. 1 was okay.
Yep. I like C. Jordan's. We'll end on this one because we got to go.
Yeah.
I went old school for constipation, which is a prune a day with hot tea or coffee. I mean, that's honestly, and it's funny because we push all kinds of meds, but we're totally good with just eating the right kind of food. If you can fix it that way, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
So thanks for hanging out today. So guys, no lives next Tuesday. I might pop in and do them, but we're not doing any AMS lives next Tuesday. We're not doing AMS lives next 2 Tuesdays. Don't show up at 10. We won't be here. We're going to be chilling, eating Christmas cookies. Mag07, hold on. That was my, sorry, that was my alarm. That's my song for my alarm. That's my 11:30 alarm. All right. Lemon squid. I like them. Mag07's tough. I wouldn't take it daily because it's got too many. Now I take magnesium daily. Again, it depends how much magnesium's in it, what else is in it, what else are you taking. We can't tell. BYOS, bring your own snacks. I know, right? So yes, go like and follow Neil and Courtney on TikTok. So they can be on here visible without a little face. If you want to watch a replay of this, God forbid, it is at watchdrmo.com. They are public. They're saved there. All of our old ones are there. We answer a lot of questions over and over again. So, which we'd love to have. So I'll be in and out of lives either on TikTok or Instagram. Go follow us on Instagram as well, because who knows what's happening with TikTok? Who knows? We don't know. So anyhow, go to amstelehealth.com if you want to be a patient. Dr. Mo Coaching. If you want to get coaching, which is cheap for right now. Well, it's cheap later too, but super cheap for right now. So, all right. We'll see you guys. Have a fantastic holiday. Thank you for liking the live, Neil.
Lots of time. Thanks for coming, everybody.
All right.